Okay, so we're getting ready to go here, guys. Market's doing a little bit of a sell-off. Not dramatic, though. And so it looks like we're ready to go there. That out of the way. And we are ready to go. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wogan with the Active Trend Traders. I want to welcome you to today's session on, can you hear me now? Okay, cool. So I want to welcome everybody to today's session on how to make money trading stocks. This is our weekly live streaming. As a reminder, if this is your first time joining us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button down below, and then there will also be some links down in the descriptions for some of the specials we have going on. You get some spreadsheets, specials with regarding discount memberships to active trend trading. And that'll be all provided for you. Hang in till the end because it will be showing you also providing some links that will allow you to save up to 40+% on a membership with active trend trading. So that's a good deal. And so let's get going. I'm gonna take this guy's picture away. And so let's see what the market's going to do to us today. I always want to remind you that bad habits are easy to form, but difficult to get rid of. Very much so. The church we go to basically does a fast during this time of the year. And one of the things, part of the thing is we're working on getting rid of bad habits for the year going forward. And just remember that regardless of what we do, we're always rehearsing some sort of habit. It's up to each one of us to analyze whether or not that habit is a good habit or a bad habit. I want to welcome everybody here. Steve, thanks a lot for coming in. So what do you think of this market sell-off?
I'm not too concerned about it. Although I'm expecting that, the run has been so long, basically since October, end of October.
Yeah,
that we're due for some kind of a correction, yet it doesn't seem to, it's not yet occurred, and so I'm a little leery. I'm a little anticipating a correction. The question is when will it materialize and we to be ready for it?
Yeah, I got it. And so one of the things that we'll be looking at the individual charts. I know you've got a stock to recommend and suggest. The main reason I do this session every week is to provide you, and I've invited Steve to join us, and because he brings such a wealth of knowledge, is we want to provide a professional market analysis with timely and actionable intel that clarifies, simplifies trading decisions, so that your wealth and your profits can be multiplied, or at least the probability that they'll be multiplied will take place. If you do have any comments that you want to leave for me, please leave them in the chat area. I don't usually monitor the question and answers. So basically the market analysis for today is one, the indexes are hanging strong, but they need a healthy pullback for improved entry opportunities. We see a lot of things that are overextended. However, I'm going to continue to trade the pullbacks until the pullbacks stop working. It is not a surprise that what we're seeing today, given that this weekend is a 3-day weekend, we observe Martin Luther King's birthday on Monday, so the markets will be closed. So enjoy your 3-day weekend, and also check your inboxes to make sure that you've gotten the Power Ranked Elite list to go into next week. We update that on a regular basis. So let's get into it. We're going to look at index stock performance, and then Dr. Steve's got a stock setup we want to take a look at. So here's where we're sitting as of about 9 o'clock this morning. We're moving up for the year. with active trend trading, what we do is I just basically try to add a little bit every week, every month, and that type of stuff, so that by the end of the year we beat the indexes. And so what the indexes are, as they're fluctuating around, doesn't bother me whatsoever, because I am basically continuing to execute my system, execute my process, and focusing on that, let the dollars take care of themselves. And so that's where we're sitting at right now. I want to call to your attention that the NASDAQ tends to go a little bit sideways at the beginning of the year, and we'll see if it does that, these seasonality charts, and then it'll get a bid starting about April, run through the end of the year. So this is where we're at right now. Now, does it mean that the NASDAQ is going to be absolutely static? No. You're going to get fluctuations and all that type of thing. But it is not abnormal to see a little bit of a pullback at the beginning of the year. You'll see that. But they tend to happen, I would say, in the more towards the end of February. So gold futures tend to get a run. I like to show this at the beginning of the year. We're waiting for that run to take place right now. If for whatever reason the global economy really slows down dramatically, and some economists are calling for that, and some economists are saying, nah, the global economy is fine, it's going to continue to move on to higher highs and this type of thing. But if the global economy does start to slow down and it impacts the stock markets, look for gold to increase in value. That's one of the things we will take a look at. And so, hey, let's get back and look at some charts, because that's what we're here for. Okay, what I've got here is I've got a weekly chart here on the left, a daily chart here on the right. A couple of weeks ago, well, for quite some time, as a matter of fact, all the way back from September of 2018 until it hit its low down here at the end of 2018, we've had the projection that these are the upside targets. If you get a complete 100% retrade extension from this, which would not be surprising, that will take us up to, in the S&P or the spiders, up to $354. It has met its objective of hitting the 1618 extension that we see there. And so I'll go ahead and drop this out of here. Well, I'll leave it there. So as I sit here right now, I've got a couple of things going on with this index that are not necessarily concerning, but I'll keep my eye on. One, I've got some negative divergence. As I'm hitting higher highs here, I'm getting negative divergence in this momentum indicator, the true strength index. And so as that basically kind of moves down, which could mean, hey, we're going to pull our head back and pull back into a support area for some, for a bounce. A healthy move would be back down to this level here, about the 324 level, or 325 level. And I would anticipate a bounce from there. So if you're marking up your charts whatsoever, I would put an alert right there about the 326 level. And just if you get your trigger and it says, hey, I hit that level, you can go take a look at the chart and see if you're getting set up for a potential buy. The Qs, similar type situation. The NASDAQ has been just pushing to higher highs. Take a look at that. Okay, yeah, the NASDAQ's been up here pushing to higher highs. However, it's got the same thing going on here with the TSI. You've got negative divergence going on. Now, when you have negative divergence in a momentum indicator like this, it does not mean the market is going to immediately reverse and fall out of the sky. No. What does it mean? It means basically that as the market is pressing higher, it is basically doing it on a lower level of momentum. therefore making it more susceptible to a reversal and a pullback. Where would a healthy pullback on the Qs be? Well, back to 220. That would be the 8-day moving average, or it's got some really nice, it has some very nice support there about the 217 level. So anywhere in that area. One of the things I like to do is I like to occasionally, I will grab and I'll just highlight an area like from here, not from there. Let me see if I can get this to not snap to anything. I like to identify an area and just say, okay, this is if I get a pullback into that area. And I just lay that on there so that I can visually see it. If I come and I'm checking my charts one day and I find price action down in here, that's a potential trigger to say, hey, I may be setting up for a reversal back up to the upside. So that's one of the things I do, and I'll just track that because that would be a really healthy pullback, and it's had past support resistance there. So we know there's a level of support resistance in that area. IWM is another one. IWM actually did a really nice breakout and pushed back up to close to past highs from 2018. Didn't quite make it. And so it hit a new high this morning and it is selling off. What I'm seeing with the current sell-off that we're seeing is it's just a matter of people taking some of their profits off the table prior to this long three-day weekend, which is transpiring. Well, they don't want to basically take on the risk of the 3-day weekend. So that's what we're looking at. So, Steve, what stock do you want us to look at today?
I like BABA, and let me comment. I like what you said. I agree with it 100%. I'm leery about taking new positions right now because the market seems to be so extended. On the other hand, you trade pullbacks until they stop working, and
exactly
BABA has done just that. And today was an entry that I took earlier this morning above yesterday's high after it touched the ADMA yesterday and appeared to have been held based on to be holding there based on today's price action.
And so
I'm in over the high from yesterday. Right
so basically, the way you trigger in, if you are, if you get it down, you come just, to refresh people, part of your trigger is it's one of the 8-day triggers that you picked up. But it basically, if you get a pullback to the 8-day, and then if it takes out the next day high, the high of that day,
correct,
that is
correct,
your entry. And which
correct,
makes, and that's a classical bull flag type of entry, which is really, really, an excellent entry. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier today and going, yeah, gosh, do I want to get in on this right now? I like the point of entry. Now, where would you put your stop on a situation like this, Steve?
Right under yesterday's low.
Right under here.
Yeah.
So
or because it's so close to the 8, also a close below the 8 EMA.
Okay.
So that would be a little bit a higher stop loss.
So to give you an idea of what kind of risk Steve is taking on here, right? Just below yesterday's low, it's about a 2 to 3, only about a 2% stop loss.
Correct. And it's rarely that I take stop losses larger than 2%. Yeah.
Yep. And that works. Now, if you were going to trade an option on a situation like this, is you could go ahead and trade an option and buy a 60 delta option right now, which would probably be about the 225, 226. Be
correct,
aware though, you have earnings coming up on the 29th, and that's a BMO. So we would want to be out of whatever trade that was in on the close of the 28th.
Agreed. I agree. But you could get quite a bit of expansion involved in that 2-week period, and it would be a good trade.
Yeah, certainly. I could see this going up. I would target, I can see it actually going up to about 235 before earnings.
Yeah, easily. It easily could do that.
Yeah. And
Or
Steve,
it could just trade sideways, you know, just
it
don't
could.
know. Yeah, yeah.
So what are the conditions where you would hold, Rocco asked the question, what are the conditions where you would hold through earnings, Steve?
Or if I've got quite a bit of profit locked in, already developed in an options position, even in the stock position, then I would probably sell a portion of the position. And if I really like the stock, the trend looks solid and doesn't look to be threatened, then I would probably hold some through earnings.
Okay. So do you have I know some people use a percentage, like, you know, they have to have 10% profit before they would contemplate holding.
No, no, I don't have a specific number in mind. It mostly depends on the trend of how the trend is behaving. Is it technically sound? And if we've missed earnings, the last report, I'm also more inclined to hold it to the next earnings. Yeah.
That's if it missed earnings.
Right. Yeah. Because they rarely miss two quarters in a row.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So yeah, so this is a really great, you know, the thing about it is, if you're leery about the weekend, the 3 days, you don't necessarily have to take a trade here today, but
Sure.
but definitely, this is definitely a excellent, great entrance for a trade. You can actually wait until Tuesday, and say, yeah, okay, I want to get in Tuesday, and that works fine. I would watch to see it. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, the other factor is this is Baba's in the Chinese sector. It's the Chinese Amazon, and that sector has been very hot the last month and a half.
Yes, it has.
So it's another reason I don't mind taking this trade at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Baba's not going anywhere. So
right.
Hey,
right.
here's a couple. You know, it's kind of interesting. And I'm just going to throw this up really quick. I'm going to do it in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. I was sitting there looking at this, and I found this very interesting. Here's our old buddy INMD. It basically has come out on the sector leaders, and apparently this is a company that fixes tools or whatever for doing plastic surgery, and so it's supposed to be a pretty good deal. But it's an IPO. It's past its IPO dates and all that kind of stuff, and it rock and rolled and looks pretty good. I know this has been on your list before, Steve. It is still on my list.
Likewise, yeah.
And I'll just throw out really quick, just stand by. I like it, but I like it down here by the 8/20-day moving average. So in other words, if it pulled back to, about 40, well, what's this low here? If it pulls back to approximately 42.60 to 41.60, I'm going to be looking at jumping on board that puppy. That's one of my areas. Let's see, Alex, to answer your question, yeah, the stock chart I'm looking at right here is a weekly chart. Correction, is a daily chart. And I basically just keep both of them up here. So I want to confirm my one strong uptrend, and we're gonna, and then on the weekly, and then look for the granular pieces on the daily. So that's one. And here's another one. This is a freebie. Keep your eye on this puppy. This is rad. Rite Aid. Rite Aid had a huge, big upturn in earnings. And apparently it is looking like it may be a turnaround opportunity. So we want to keep our eye on this. It came back down and has bounced once off the breakout area here at about $11.58. It bounced there. That's off the 50 also. It looks like it may be coming back down for a retest on that. So I'll be watching that into next week.
I agree completely. I really like this one, this setup, but it's still a little early. Yeah.
Yep, still a little bit early. I'm not, because oftentimes what will happen is you'll get a testing process. You'll pull all the way back down, hit the 50, bounce.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes it will come back, do a close retest. And it's on that retest, so we want to be looking for the bounce from there. So So that takes care of the stocks we're going to look at. Thank you, Steve, for those
You're
particular
welcome. My
ones.
pleasure.
And I hope you guys are really appreciating, what, the value that Steve brings to the table, and talk about the specifics on that. Hey, we've restructured. We are in the process of restructuring our active trend trading membership, and the current discount on premium memberships that we're offering right now, it is going to end, close of business, or at the end of January 20th, and go back to the regular levels. If you need anybody to speak at one of your groups, talk about stocks, talk about anything, join us, or just let us know, and I'll be glad to plug in for either via webinar. If it's on here on Island, I can do an in-person. And then monthly BAM meeting, February 1st. Steve, have we set the date for the February Honolulu meetup?
I haven't confirmed the room yet, but it should be the first Tuesday in February.
Okay. So, well, with that basically concludes us for today. Again, I just want to highlight this move ends on the 20th. And you can find this link in the description on the, down in the description area, you'll find that link on the YouTube channel. So with that, I'll just say basically 2020 is looking like it's going to be, looking for trading breakthrough. We've got a good start to 2020. Excuse me. Stocks are doing well, and our trades are doing well so far, and we just continue to follow the process. So if you're a premium member, we'll be back with you at the top of the hour to talk specific about trades and setups for individual trades. And last but not least, aloha, trade well, and prosper. Have a great weekend. Remember, no market on Monday, because we're honoring Martin Luther King for his birthday. So mahalo, God bless everybody. And I'll just leave you with this is after the, stay tuned to the end of the video, because in that little point right there, there will be a little icon you can take and find out more about active trend trading. So until next week, have a great weekend. God bless everybody. Thanks, Steve, for joining, and thanks everybody for joining. Aloha.